The finals are set, and I got to see 4 minutes of heat, and I love those guys. I'm Charles Rickland with my review of the United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live Episode 9 event. There was one decision on the show I didn't particularly care for, and there is one team that I'm just not really feeling so far. But I'll talk about that when I get to the match. Do want to say, though, I have loved the Primetime Live format, and I'm more than happy to plunk the money down and watch this stuff, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my reviews. I really do enjoy reviewing this stuff, so hopefully I can keep doing that as the weeks go on. Promos from the various talents, Eli Drake and James Storm. They're in a deli talking about serving up ass kickings and all that, and meat. Lots of meat. Bit odd that. Chris Dickinson versus Fred Rosser. I love Chris Dickinson, love his promos. Fred Rosser, the former Darren Young. Chris Dickinson's also pretty damn good in the ring. I see why people praise him. Semi-final UWN Heavyweight Championship Tournament match. Rosser had a protective, pad on his elbow, and after Eric Redbeard had attacked him, so Dickinson kept, zeroing in on that. At one point, one line from commentary, he doesn't have the same prophylactic protection. I don't know why that made me laugh, but it did. Backdrop on the apron, the hardest part of the ring, by the way. Rosser does come back, but eventually falls to an armbar and taps out quickly because his elbow was just too hurt. So Chris Dickinson goes to the finals. The right call. I expected him to go to the finals because as much as he'd been demanding competition, it makes the most sense how they've been building him and Mike Bennett. It makes the most sense for them to meet in the finals. And then we get 4 minutes of heat and Will Alday versus the Real Money Brothers and a guy named Cam. Will Alday, I've heard the name of, have not been able to see all that much of him, but I see why people praise him. He's very good. 4 minutes of heat, got to see him in multiple indie shows. They remind me of a cross between the Fantastics and the Rock and Roll Express. Rock God Ricky Gibson, Freak Nasty Eddie Pearl. Both guys are great guys, hard-working team. They get even better. But seeing them at all the indie shows I've been able to see them at, I appreciate how much they've improved, and they really have. I can't put these guys over enough. They are goddamn great. And if you ever get a chance to meet them, meet and greets, whatever, they are great guys. They really are great guys, and they're definitely going to get even better. If a major company has not signed them in the next, I'd say, year to year and a half, or at least, giving them serious looks and giving them chances, I'll be shocked. They are that good. I'm gonna kind of be a little bit critical, though, of the Real Money Brothers. I got nothing against these guys as people. I just don't get the gimmick. I don't think that they're bad. They're not for me. This Cam guy also was vaping. I don't know why you would vape before a match. I'm not here to judge. I just don't quite get it, but it does factor into the match a little bit later. We get stuffing in the mouth. Apparently, the Real Money Brothers were Ted DiBiase fans. We get a lot of dives. We get a code breaker by Cam. More moves for moves. Who's going to get the pin? Who's the legal man? We don't know who the legal man is, or at least commentary didn't. The ref did. Then we get a mid-air collision where Gibson and Cam just were like, hey, we're going to dive on, these guys. Wait, we're going to dive at each other. And they actually did a pretty damn neat mid-air collision. I'm actually shocked they're both okay. And then a vape to the eye, and Pearl gets pinned. Okay, bit odd that. Davey Boy Smith Jr. cannot talk for shit, by the way. He really can't. Not that his dad could talk, but by God, he did not inherit any of his dad's charisma, which is saying something, because his dad really had physical charisma, and that was it. So, yeah, anyway, though, that six-man tag was what it was. But, yeah, that Davey Boy Smith Jr. promo, whatever. Lacey Ryan versus Vipress. I liked Vipress the first time I saw her. It was against Lacey Ryan, and it was an FSW Women's Championship match. Vipress does have a really good look, and she kept focusing on the knee of Lacey Ryan. It kept focusing. A lot of body part focused during this show. Good pace. Vipress just kept attacking the weak point for massive damage, and great knee bar. Eventually, explode her knee. 1, 2, 3, and Lacey Ryan retains her championship. The women's match, though, picked up the pace. They cut a pretty good pace here, and it was good. And then we get Storm and Drake versus Stevens and the question mark, who actually turned out to be JR Kratos, who was a big guy that Mike Bennett fought recently. NWA Tag Team Championship match. Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't like this. They brawled for a while, and then they got in the ring, and Stevens isn't bad, but he's not great. He's not good for long matches. Storm and Drake are still a really good team. Kratos is fine as a big, burly cleanup guy if you use him in short bursts. But they did a whole bunch of, messy stuff. Drake eventually gets the tag to Storm. It got messy at the end with a chair, and Drake's taken outside, so Stevens tries to get a chair in there, and a low blow that didn't even look like it landed, and Kratos pins Storm 1, 2, 3. New NWA Tag Team Champions, Stevens and Kratos. It's just, whatever. It is what it is. I guess you got to try to spice it up a little bit, but I don't know. There's being a heel, and then there's hey, we're just going to do a title change for the sake of a title change. This is one of the few things where I'm like, That was a misstep, and I don't really know why they did it. Unless James Storm is going to leave. Unless he's going to leave and, maybe sign with a bigger company. I don't know. Maybe that's the reason they did. I have no idea. Sean Daivari versus Mike Bennett. Semi-final UWN heavyweight tournament match. And promos from both before. Daivari's in incredible shape. Mike, I'm really happy to see that he's being able to wrestle like he wants to. Spear instantly, and Bennett sold his shoulder. Daivari kept attacking it, and eventually Bennett would come back, his spear outside. They would go for a Hail Mary, the Hail Mary pile driver, that is, through a table, and then he would hit one in the ring, 1, 2, 3. This is at least a fast-paced match, and, was good for what it was. And it wasn't a bad show, but this was a show where I was like, it was more good than bad, but it was also one where I was like, it just kind of happened. Nothing on this show stood out as one of my favorite things of the year, but I didn't hate anything, I will say that. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.